up? We back with another one.
Another episode, man.
That's 2 straight, right? Because we had spring break.
Yeah, we had a little delay with the spring break.
So that's like 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 weeks that we've been pushing out nice content for y'all. That's a nice stretch,
bro. We back.
80% hit rate.
That's great. 80% is great. We back, bro. We back. I'm feeling good. How you feeling,
bro? I'm feeling good. You feel me? The weather continues to develop into that perfect spot. You feel me? I feel like spring / like fall, like when the weather is in between at like 60s. Feel me? I feel like that's really the best time. 60s, 70s, like under 50, it'd be like
too cool.
It'd be you don't want to do nothing. You don't want to go outside as much. Like it'd just be like darker, dimmer days. I feel like,
yeah, bro.
Like I feel like with the sun coming out, obviously summer about to come out. You feel me? People thinking about their vacation plans, like what they about to do, like travel. You got anything coming up actually?
Yeah, bro. Me and the boys about to head up to New York for the weekend. Calm little vibe. Chill, watch the next game, just explore. I've never been up to New York, bro.
Yeah. So
first timer.
You said you're going up there how many days?
2
days. So what is there any specific experience you're looking for? Like, because I know you hear like maybe stereotypes or like what are you looking forward to seeing anything? Like,
I'd say the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is just like overall the city scene, like especially at night. Like I know the city, like at least what I've seen on social media or just like in movies and all that. Like it's a non-stop scene, you know. There's like a whole lot of stuff going on. I just want to be in that atmosphere. I think that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. Like New York is it's one of those cities where it's like it just never stops. Like
it doesn't.
It never stops. It doesn't die young. So it's one of those things where I want to be in that atmosphere. I don't really travel much neither. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's technically traveling. Yeah. Like I've been to Las Vegas before. That's over the side of the country. But New York, besides those two, I'm a PA boy. I ain't gonna lie. PA, maybe hit Delaware for a day or something like that. I don't really move a lot, so no, this is definitely gonna be a good experience. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
I definitely hope it's a great trip for you. Hope everyone stays safe on that, John.
For sure.
But another thing I've been recently, bro, this Playboy Cardi album. That's what I've been on. I'm like you to be in this changing music, this changing atmosphere. Like, I feel like we needed this in the music industry right now. Something big, something that's going to shake the game. I feel like another album that everyone's going to talk about besides, Babies in January. This is another one that's, everyone's going to be talking about throughout the year. Like, I feel like, first off, before I ask that, obviously it's still young in the Cardi album. It's only been out for now, I think, 5 days. What is your favorite album of the year? Because Friday dropped the album, Lil Baby dropped the album, The Weeknd dropped the album, Playboy Cardi dropped the album. We got some underground people that dropped the album. Shout out my boy
Well dropped an album.
Shout out my boy
Well dropped an album. No, I ain't gonna lie. I say number one still gotta be Baby, bro.
Number one still gotta be
Baby. It was crazy. Baby, I think the way I approached this drop just wasn't it. Because I was expecting it to be like a groundbreaking album, which I think his standard has deserved that expectation, but I think like after the first few listens, like that was my whole January, bro. Stiff Gang stuff. Even 99 with Future on the deluxe. Like, Baby, he's definitely number one. And they said it was like rumored that he might drop another one.
Yeah, this year.
I don't think he should. I think his album should. Not till like the end of the year. They were saying like May.
They saying he trying to come heavy this year, 2025 year.
You gotta wait a little bit, man. You gotta let that album die out
simmer a little bit because it's still hot.
Let this marinate a little bit.
Okay.
We'll see him in the fall again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That'd be a perfect time. What's yours?
Bro, my top 3, I'm gonna go number 3, Friday album. Number 3. Bro.
I don't listen too much Friday.
He fire.
Anytime it's him and Meek, they always kill it.
Yeah, they always him. He from Philly, I feel like he top 5 in Philly right now. Me personally, I feel like
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Friday That's really crazy. One of them balls. But bro, I'm feeling like Lil Baby, my favorite artist right now. Another, really good album. But this one right here,
Cardi.
This could do something, and it's also expected to do some pretty solid numbers, mind you. This album didn't even have a rollout. And then with Cardi, you know, he always teasing drops, so we never even know when he actually going to drop or not. Like, his numbers really could be different if he just had a rollout, set a day, you feel me? Like, people, I damn near wasn't even believing until, like, that Thursday night where people was like, oh, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like,
it was like that last Tuesday he had tweeted out, he just said Friday.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was a single. I didn't even know it was an album at first. I'm thinking, all right, he about to drop a single, everybody going to talk about it for a little bit. It died down. They said he was coming with an album. I'm like, okay. This is major because he hasn't dropped since what, Whole Lot Red?
Nah, and that's 4.5 years
pushing
ago.
5 now, pushing 5. So, nah, this was definitely even still with no rollout, like a very anticipated drop.
Yeah,
and it's crazy because Cardi's new flow like is different from the Cardi like that. Like I want to say grew up on
SoundCloud era
Cardi, like when him and Uzi was making.
A lot of people say that's the best version of him.
I still think it is, but I don't think this version is just different. I don't really marry to it much, but it's different.
I think that's what it is. You know, us as fans, we sometimes say, you know, people's becoming more mid or feel me, they're getting worse, but I think it's because they're dropping like similar music that they've always been.
Right.
Feel me? I like that Cardi, feel me, goes out of the main what everyone else is doing, and I feel like does his own thing. I feel like that's a different touch. What you feel me? We need to hear musically. You feel me? Just hearing different stuff. Like I think albums like Kanye, for example, he got a whole bunch of stuff that sounds different, but we all call him the GOAT. I thought it's because he's so creative and he tries so many different flows, beats that makes him that way. I feel like Cardi is taking kind of that same route. Feel me?
He getting there.
You know what? Real quick, my bad. But you know how a lot of people, I guess, like if you listen to like drill or maybe like a lot of hip hop, they don't kind of like Travis Scott, the Kanye's, the Playboy. I feel like Playboy Cardi's starting to fall in that realm,
right?
Like in terms of super creative, but people, it's not for everyone.
Bro, I just think it comes down to your preference, bro. Because like me, I think I can listen to a lot of different genres, like drill included. But at the same time, you gotta just appreciate like music isn't only what you. I won't say like a track to, but it's a work of art as well. There's a lot of creation that goes into it. There's a lot of stuff from people's life experiences that they put into music. So it's not even always about like what type of bar someone's saying, but it's like what's the message behind it too. You know what I mean? Or the message behind like the beat or just anything like that. So I don't know. I think people they like to criticize what doesn't apply to them or what doesn't attract to them. I think that's the biggest problem about like rating music and stuff like that. But overall, I mean, I still got some finishing to do with the Cardi album, but I feel like
all the way.
I feel like I've listened to some tracks so far, and yo, I'm not gonna lie. Like, what's your favorite track? Like,
I'm not gonna lie, all of them hot. Like, I'm not even trying. Yes, I'm a Cardi fan, but like, I really feel like this album, and I'm hearing a lot. Like, there's a lot, not a lot of skips. Like, it's not a lot of stuff that I wouldn't come back to. I feel like all the beats are hitting. Like his production, I feel like is better than a lot of mainstream people. Like his stuff be kind of legendary. He gets some of the best producers always on his albums. He, you feel me, gets together, and I feel like he creates a lot of good music. Like, I feel like they're all my favorite songs. But if I'm telling someone who hasn't heard the album what songs to listen to, I would say I really like.
It's a few.
I like Fines.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I like that song. I like Rather Lie. I like Good Credit.
Good Credit. That's a good. That was the Kendrick Lamar. Right?
I like Backdoor with Kendrick as well.
Kendrick got a couple on there.
Yeah, he got a few. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
My favorite.
I also like the Uzi song by himself.
The Uzi song. This is the generic one I say with Evil Jordan for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy,
bro.
That's crazy. Philly is crazy.
That's my favorite song on there, bro.
Philly is crazy.
Like all day on Sunday, I was bumping that. I think that's a top Travis Scott verse I've heard in a while, bro. He said, "Philly, keep it a bean." Bro, like, that's crazy. That's
fire. That beat was crazy, bro.
But I think Cardi flow, he ran that too.
Yes.
Like,
yes, bro. It was a crazy jump. It was a crazy jump. I think it's going to become one of the better albums of the year. It's a lot. I think this is going to be a great year for music.
It has been so far.
It has.
We're only like 2.5 months in, but it's definitely been a solid month. A solid year for music for sure. But we got some other stuff to get into because we got some breaking news ending off Sunday night. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both re-signed with the Bengals. on new extensions. I believe Chase got 4 years around the 170 range. T. Higgins 4 years, 115. It's crazy because T. Higgins' deal is a lot of like incentive guarantee based, so you kind of have to stay healthy, reach the numbers that we want you to get that money. But Chase, they broke the bank on Chase, the highest non-quarterback contract in the league so far. Got T. Higgins wrapped up. Like, how do you feel about that? Because there's been a lot of controversy about paying 2 wide receivers that type of money, especially with the money that your quarterback is already making.
Yeah, I definitely think that it is I don't hate the move. I actually, maybe I could get him for less on a dollar, but that's basically it. I think that this is a good move for the Bengals. Honestly, I'm gonna disagree with the discourse that's saying, maybe they should have got some defense, but I think this recipe, having all 3 of these dudes healthy, we've seen solid success. We've been to a Super Bowl, we've been to an AFC Championship game against one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Came down to the last possession. Mm-hmm. They've had solid success. If everyone can stay healthy, obviously that's the big thing. But if everyone stays healthy, I feel like this is the best, receiving duo in the league.
For sure.
Chase, we know his contract was like expected. He just did multiple things this year that hasn't been done or heard of. Like, he's had a phenomenal career so far. And T. Higgins, we see when he's on the field, the offense looks better, and he's just a really good receiver. Like, he makes some of the most difficult catches look easy. Like, if you know ball, like T. Higgins actually that.
He could be a wide receiver 1 on many teams.
A lot of teams. And I do think this is a good move for the Bengals. I like the move.
I like the move too. I think it's one of those things where I don't hate paying them that money when they show the blueprint, like you said, for success. Mm-hmm. Like, they already got a Super Bowl appearance under their belt, another AFC Championship appearance under their belt. They've shown that they can win on high levels when they're healthy overall as a core. Now, do they have harder roadblocks to get to build a successful team around them now? For sure. But overall, I mean, when you have an offense that's working, you don't want to go against it. Yeah. I think overall, in today's sports world, like, we're too accustomed of, he's up for a new contract, trade him, or get him out. Like, they work and they uplift your quarterback, right, like Joe Burrow. They make him the best quarterback he could be. You also found a gem in Chase Brown, so you already have a running back on a cheap cost, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, they have been talking to Trey Hendrickson about his deal because he requested a trade, I want to say earlier in the month, because they wasn't trying to pay up at first, but I think both sides are going to work towards a solution. I think the biggest thing for them now, and this is going to be a huge domino for the next couple of years, is how much do they hit on this year's draft? And I think this year's draft has to go to the defensive side of the ball. They have to get that right. They had the stretch of the season, even though they missed the playoffs, we've seen the Bengals compete in high-level games. The Broncos game was crazy. The Chargers game down the stretch was crazy. Like, their offense can't compete. This is about defensively. What positions is that defense going to put the offense in to take advantage of games? And we've seen that held them back early in the season. Especially, this was more so of a momentarily mistake, but the holding call on the Chiefs that week 2, when they went down 0-2, they lost to the Commanders at home, going 0-3. You just can't start the season off that bad. They have to have a better start next season, establish your position in the AFC North, and go from there. Because if I'm being honest, this is the type of core that can win multiple divisional titles. So to see them try to sneak their way into the playoffs year after year, they had to kind of change that narrative and get back to what they were 2021, 22. Like, get back into that. What made you good then? Health obviously is out of your control, but they had to get back to their winning recipes. And I think they got away from that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be an interesting year for that whole division.
For sure.
For real.
It's a weird division. It's a weird division.
That's a lot of holes, and not holes, but like aspects that you look at on all teams and like, okay, can they win it all? Right. Are they really that good with a lot of those teams?
Obviously, they're not a contender, but are we already writing off the Browns?
Are we?
At least
the Bengals aren't a contender?
What you mean?
I can't. Oh, we're talking about the Browns.
The Cleveland Browns. Like just on some AFC North talk real quick. It's like, I know a championship is not really in the conversation for them, like in terms of a Super Bowl, but we've seen 2 years ago that Joe Flacco did carry this team into a wild card appearance. So is that out of play in terms of the conversation with the Cleveland Browns? They got the number 2 pick.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of quarterbacks, and we're going to get into quarterbacks in a little bit, but there's some quarterbacks that they can consider for a starting position with Deshaun Watson pretty much out for the 2025 season. Myles Garrett just re-up. If things could go their way,
bro, yeah, like I said, with that division in particular, I'm not surprised that whoever comes out, whoever makes the playoffs, is usually two teams from that division always makes it out, and it'll be changing. You feel me? Sometimes Ravens, Browns, sometimes Ravens, Steelers, sometimes Ravens, Browns, sometimes Ravens, whoever is such. So I wouldn't be surprised. The defense is still good. You know, Kevin Stefanski for all that he's dealt with. He's won 2 Coach of the Years. So he has the makeup and, you feel me, the smarts, the wits to get it done.
For sure. That's going to definitely be a weird division, for sure.
To go to another division, NFC West. There's a lot of movement over there right now.
For sure. I'm a little bittersweet about this move, man. As a notable Cooper Kupp fan for about, I'll say like 5 to 6 years, Cooper Kupp was hands down my favorite wide receiver in the league, bro. Now, I don't want little things to get in the way of my fandom for Cooper Kupp, but what he did for me in our fantasy playoffs, that 0-point game will forever haunt me, bro. It literally eliminated me for the playoffs. But overall, Cooper Kupp, I'm definitely a big fan of his game. This 2021 season is hands down my favorite season from a non-Eagles player, for sure. Like, that Triple Crown season was crazy to witness, bro.
That was crazy.
And we just going to now, him signing with the Seahawks on a 3-year, $45 million deal. It was a great move for him. I think that's the best team that he could have signed to. Like, in terms of situation, contract, quarterback. Putting all those factors into one and finding the best medium, I think that was the best situation.
I must say that it's definitely a solid situation. I don't know if it's the best, and I only say that because I think JSN, who is a similar receiver, they kind of do similar things.
That's true.
You can't have 2 slot receiver dogs on the field, so I just wonder how, in terms of packages and like formations, how they're gonna make it work. Like, who's gonna move to the outside? Who's gonna be more in a trying to beat press? That's a harder thing. That's a different task than moving in the slot. You feel me? Doing your jet sweeps, doing your inside crosser, stuff like that. So I just want to see how that matches up. But all in all, I don't hate the move either. I kind of like this one too.
It's crazy because I think JSN should definitely be the one that's moved outside now. That's definitely more of a risky move because now this is your new wide receiver one. This offense is catered to around him. So taking him to something that he's kind of been comfortable with his 2 years in the league so far is it comes with some sort of a risk. But I think to make the most out of Cooper Kupp, you got to put him in the slot. And let him just cook in the inside. But I think they definitely need another receiver, though. Like, their wide receiver room is still lacking a little bit. They did pick up Valdez-Scantling. That's like a con wide receiver 4 or 5 just to have. He can give you
that's speedster.
Right.
That's a nice 3-4.
He was cooking with the Saints at the end of the season, actually. So
that's a nice 3-4.
He's definitely still riding up high, but definitely in the draft, go get you another weapon, even if it's a tight end too.
Tight end definitely
for sure
wouldn't be bad. We got the Aaron Rodgers dilemma.
Aaron Rodgers, bro. It's getting to me now, bro. Because every time it seems like he can make himself the center of attention, he does, bro. Yeah. He does. Free agency, at this time the record has already been a week or so past.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get the answers to these quarterback questions like last Monday. But the fact that this is still rolling out is just insane. We just got news that the Vikings, they're moving on from pursuing him, at least for right now.
Yeah.
They like J.J. McCarthy as their starting quarterback moving forward, so it kind of narrows down to Steelers or the Giants. And from so far, like at least from everything I looked into, the Steelers definitely look more like a possible landing spot than the Giants as of now.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin really wants Aaron Rodgers, so I still think the Steelers should just re-sign Russell Wilson and just go from there. Aaron Rodgers, maybe the Giants works out for him, but I'm not gonna lie, retirement, that door should be open too, bro.
It's crazy. I was seeing, if you would have went to the Vikings, you would have followed the same footsteps as Brett Favre. You would have seen that. That would have been crazy. That would be funny. I actually kind of want to see him go to the Vikings.
Jordan Love, Jets in 2028.
Yeah, you feel me? But I was cracking up when I seen that. But I do think that, Rodgers should just go wherever he's wanted. Whatever team needs, the distractions he's come with. I just think that over the past 2-3 years, Rodgers hasn't shown that He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. We just seen him go 6-11 the year before. He was injured all year. The year before, he missed the playoffs again. So I just think that maybe his prime is ultimately done, and maybe we shouldn't look at him as the top 10 guy who we used to talk about how he's the best thrower of the ball we've ever seen, most accurate, all that stuff. I think that's out the window.
Definitely, it's definitely out the window. Like you said, I mean the Steelers won them. They've been pretty much waiting on him. I think he's been trying to leverage his position to go to Minnesota, but I don't know.
My bad. Another thing like that also comes with that, because I do think he still was skill. He still made some pinpoint throws last year, but it's also the leadership aspect. His leadership is not good. He's a blame deflector. I feel like that also goes into being a top 10 quarterback. Like, will your locker room like that? You feel me? How are you with your peoples around you? We know he has certain problems, issues with certain teammates sometimes, so I just hope wherever he goes he doesn't mess up chemistry or mess up anything like that. But
I mean, like for the Steelers, I think Russ is a better leader of men, honestly. Now, your opinion on their skill set could vary. I think at this point it's more so of a preference thing compared to who's definitively better than the other one, personally. So honestly, bro, the Giants that sort of makes sense if they don't trade up for number one and potentially get a Cam Moore. Now that's the thing. Like the top of the draft definitely. Now I hope this doesn't reach out to the draft. This should not stretch to the draft, honestly. But that does play a factor into it too, because if Tennessee takes Cam Moore at 1, and then some team maybe trades up for Shador at 2, or even Cleveland takes Shador at 2, then the 3 spot for the Giants is kind of looking questionable to where you could still take a quarterback, you could still reach, maybe trade down, or maybe reach and take a Jackson Dart at 3, but that would be more of a situation that makes sense for that quarterback to sit for a little bit, then let Aaron Rodgers get it, compared to if you trade up for number 1, you might as well let that, or Cam Moore,
he's going to start.
Let him start.
100%.
So
100%.
I think he goes to either the Steelers or the Giants. I think at the end, if I had to make a prediction, maybe next week, maybe the week after that, maybe the month after that, I think he lands in Pittsburgh.
He'll be the Pittsburgh Steeler, okay.
But as a Russ fan, like, where are you sitting with this? Do you want Russ to go back to the Steelers, or are you starting to look at different situations like Tennessee or New York? Like, what you think?
I just want, the best for my boy. I feel like he hasn't been respected throughout his career. And then now it's just like ultimate disrespect. Certain guys getting signed before him, or people think they're better than him. I mean, I don't know. I don't agree with some of it. I think Russ is still a solid quarterback. He's still putting up good numbers, still putting up good plays, game-winning plays. Great leader. Super Bowl champions, been there, done that. You're not taking a risk on him like someone who's been there. Like, I don't know. I still feel like he's not getting the best looks right now, but I think by the end of the offseason, he'll find somewhere where he'll be the starter.
Did he visit the Browns?
I believe he had a call with the Browns, yeah.
That might be it.
That could be it.
I mean, I don't hate it. You already got Judy, Njoku.
Judy and Russ pair back up.
Am I saying Denver? I mean, I like it.
Okay. Speaking of retirement, though, Brandon Graham retirement. Eagles legend.
Crazy. 15 years in Philly. Finally hung it up. I knew it was going to happen. Like, I wasn't shocked in the slightest. I just think his last season, or this past season, was kind of like an embodiment of his legacy with the Eagles. From having a rotational position in our D-line up to week 12 against the Rams. He had a bicep injury that was supposed to rule him out for the season, which everybody knew that was going to be his last year. He even announced that before the fact.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, BG year got cut short. Like, maybe if we reach the Super Bowl, he might not be able to play. We end up making that run all the way up to the Super Bowl. Rumors started to come that he might give it a go one last time.
Yeah.
They activate him. He plays in the Super Bowl. What didn't do too much. I mean, obviously, I wasn't expecting too much. Like, his arm was literally just done.
Yeah.
But still had some plays out there. Still led a lot of pressure to the Chiefs O-line. And to go out like that to get your second ring in your last career game it's crazy overall, man. He's like a top, at least for me, during my time of being an Eagles fan, he's for sure top 5. Maybe
top 5 Eagle of all time?
Top 3.
Top 3.
During my time, at least.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad.
It's not bad at all.
I feel like that's about it.
Like he's up there with Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, Nick Foles, even Jalen Hurts in that conversation too.
So yeah, Hurts has just opened that door. I would say Shady probably in there.
Shady too. Shady.
It's a lot of greats, and 2 rings. You beat Brady and Mahomes,
and
that's how you do it.
Super Bowl 52 to get that sack, that fumble sack on Brady,
that's legendary. I mean,
that was a big play, bro.
One of the best plays.
That's the greatest play in Eagles history. I was telling Kev this yesterday. Like that's the greatest play in Eagles history. Without that, I don't know if we win that game. Because Brady
down, because they was only down 5.
Yes, so touchdown would have swung a lot, and that was like under 2 minutes left too. That was like a game-saving play, and it's honestly because I know that next year he was rumored to leave in free agency. He took a lesser deal with the Eagles and always took team-friendly deals. Always was a great leader in our locker room. So BG just a stand-up dude. I'm not gonna lie, stand-up man for sure. So definitely best wishes to him for his at the retirement. Definitely gonna be missed. Eagles, they already made another move. They signed a Larry from the Giants.
They're ready. So Howie ready.
Howie never sleep.
We love you, BG, but it's time to go.
Howie slowly, it's not being talked about enough, but just little move by move is low-key making up for the first wave of free agency guys. It's he's really prioritizing taking them swings again.
Yeah.
And trying to make the most for value contracts. And it's one of those things where players that were signed to 1-year deals have a great season, they get paid, we get our compensatory pick for the next year, and the rotation keeps going. Even we lost Mekhi Becton to the Chargers, so now we have an open spot to fill that guard. They're saying 3rd-year player Tyler Steen might make that jump to a start.
And he's gotten playing time.
He's got playing time
here and there. With injuries to
Lane.
Okay, yeah, I've heard. Okay. Yeah, he's definitely solid. The Eagles do the best at developing line play. I feel like throughout the 2010s, they've if you're talking about consistently, they've probably been the best line for the past 10 to 15 years. They're gonna have multiple Hall of Famers. It's a long list of great players.
Yeah, Austin's back to Jeff Stoutland, bro. That's the best O-line coach in the league. Best O-line coach in the league by far.
For sure.
By far. And we got 20 picks. 20 draft picks in the next 2 drafts. That's crazy, bro. I'm pretty sure we've received.
There is no way they don't want another one in the next 2 years.
I really think we get another one, bro.
In the next 2 years.
This upcoming year, I think it's still possible. I mean, obviously you want to repeat, but if we don't, I'm still riding off from this year.
Yeah,
but I think at least I'll even go as far as say by 2028. We might be sitting on at least another appearance. Another appearance. We're not going nowhere, bro. That's to the Commanders fans, the Rams fans, the Eagles are not going anywhere, bro. We run the NFC.
They're right there.
That's our conference for sure.
So talk about another quarterback real quick. Some more news. Kirk Cousins will be in ATL, staying as a Falcon. How you feel about that? Should he be, talked about by other teams or looked at?
I'm not I actually am surprised that they kept him so far. It's definitely for now. They're gonna keep him for now. He had a $10 million guarantee, I believe, for this season. So they let the deadline pass. So they're gonna have to pay him at least some type of significant dead cap if they do decide to find a trade. But I don't see him getting traded, or
because of the contract.
Just because of the contract, or unless the Falcons just decide to wash their hands from it, take the dead cap hit, and just sell extremely low on Kirk Cousins now. There are some suitors that now it kind of ties back to the Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson thing to see how quarterback position around the league turns out. But the Giants, the Browns, the Titans, one of them could definitely get a quarterback like Kirk Cousins just to raise their floor a little bit. I think a lot of teams, they struggle from consistent quarterback, just mid-quarterback play. Now, I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is anything too special at this point, but I think the season before that, 2023, before he tore his Achilles, he was having a great season. Yeah. I think he got uplift an offense that needs uplifting, like a New York.
I think Kirk is, that's that nice. At this point, he's that nice bridge. He's gonna be your Flacco. He could come in, and if he's your backup, you're good.
You're good.
You're good. He can start, but if he's your backup, you're definitely good. We don't know how high his ceiling would get you necessarily, but he's nice floor with whatever team he goes to. This is gonna be at least a bare minimum solid team who can move the ball. Like,
sure. If I had to choose one team I would like to see him, like even if it's a trade or a signing, I think Tennessee. Tennessee, just for something a little different. You got a couple players over there that needs the uplifting in that offense. Calvin Ridley, Chega Conku, Tony Pollard. They can use some like a level quarterback play. We can just roll into it now with Will Levis. They've been throwing his name in trade talks. Kind of a different situation from Kirk Cousins because we all know wherever he goes, he's probably going to be a backup at this point. Which I don't hate if Will Levis is my backup. That's definitely not terrible.
He could same level as Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that type of round. They can either hot or cold, but
they could. Feel me, get a few backup jobs, feel me, just off their names, feel me, still solidly young. Same thing with Sam Darnold, like, he hasn't been that good over his first 6 years, but once he got his opportunity, now, showed out, now he got another paying job, so that's why I say it's never really over, it's just the beginning of their career, you feel me?
You gotta keep fighting, bro.
Maybe you might not be a Hall of Famer, but you can find it and figure it out, become a solid player, so.
I mean, at the end of the day, bro, if you told Sam Darnold 4 years ago, after his Jets tenure ended, that he'd be signing for a $100 million contract in his career, he'd definitely sign up for that. I mean, since you said his name, like, is it fully over for players like Zach Wilson and Trey Lance?
No.
Okay.
It's not over.
It's not?
They're still young. I do think Sam Darnold came in with more of that prototypical. That helps him out. Like, he came in as a more prototypical quarterback. You know, he's 6'5", 6'6", big arm. So you get him. All you gotta get right with that is now in here.
Right.
You feel me? I feel like it's a little easier for him to dissect defenses, see over the top of the line, stuff like that. Zach Wilson, he's a little shorter. Feel me? But he got drafted high for a reason. So he has some type of potential talent. Same thing with Trey Lance. They're all young. Like, maybe it's a system thing. Once you put all your trust, like Kevin O'Connell did into Sam Darnold, like, you get someone to trust you, then you start believing in yourself.
Right.
So, I mean, they can go from there. So,
and just one more thing on like the quarterback, because this has been on my mind. Like, now that we're talking about quarterbacks, and this wasn't even scheduled to talk about this, but I'm just thinking about it. How do you feel about the Brock Purdy situation in San Fran? Like, now that they've been losing players in free agency, their window has, I'll say, their previous Super Bowl window has come to a close. Would you feel comfortable after seeing players like Sam Darnold and Josh Allen get paid? Would you be comfortable with paying Brock Purdy around $50 million a year? Or should the Niners, because he's eligible for it, his camp probably wants it now just to lock it in, because now that you lost Debo, Ayuk is injured, might not be the year to even uplift his leverage in the contract negotiation. So you might want to lock it in now. But if you're the Niners, do you even pay him that money now? Do you look for a trade? Or do you just kick the can down the road and say, yo, we'll talk about this next offseason?
I think that he's definitely good enough to pay. I would definitely say, if we're just talking about like some of the other dudes that's got paid in terms of like Dax, Kirk Cousins, we've seen these guys get paid, Sam Darnold. So, we've seen like these type of players get paid. I definitely think he's a solid quarterback.
Solid quarterback?
Solid quarterback.
No, Brock Purdy definitely solid. The season he had, 2 seasons ago at this point, was definitely crazy.
He was in there. He's had a top 3 MVP type season. He's been to the Super Bowl, been to the NFC Championship. Like, first 2 years, what do you have, like, no losses or something crazy? To like a certain point, like, it was crazy. Like, so he's done enough, you're not going to make the playoffs every year, as we all know. Even Brady's missed the playoffs, you feel me? But I would pay him. I don't think he's bad. My bad. I think he's better than Dak, if that's the. I think he's better than Dak. So.
And they're in the same tier. So like you said, if Dak can get the bank broken on them, then definitely Purdy can. I think the biggest thing with the Niners right now is you have to reshape the team around Brock Purdy. They've been doing it so far. They've been letting players walk and everything. They traded Jordan Mason to the Vikings. That was an underrated move for Minnesota. I like that a lot, actually. I'm kind of torn on what they should do with CMC, because like he's approaching 30 now. He's had multiple leg injuries, and it's like if you give up on him in a trade, then it's like, do you trust the Isaac Guerrero to go out there and maybe step up as a starter running back? Do you hit the draft for a starter running back, or do you just kind of take the pieces that you have left and Brandon Ayuk when he comes back from injury, Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, even that? Like, do you take those remaining pieces from your core to put around Purdy, or do you just kind of like, for this year, pay Brock Purdy, just tear everything down around him, and then build everything back up for 2026?
I honestly think that Brock Purdy is a solid enough quarterback to where, obviously, he's only been with Kyle Shanahan, but I think that's a plus. Like, that's helping out the situation. Like, as an owner, we have an offensive coach, so that's also another thing that's enhancing his play, if you want to call it that. But that's gonna make his job easier.
Right.
So I feel like also paying him, you also helping out your coach. You feel me? We've seen, or people talk about how, if they had someone different than Garoppolo for that little stretch, maybe they win one. Maybe they do a little more. They get back to the Super Bowl once they get Brock. Obviously they lose, but like you see, it was a good offense.
Yeah.
You feel me? I just think that I would pay him. I would pay him.
I'll probably do the same.
I'd pay him.
I will say
just for the simple fact that everyone else is getting paid, you feel me? I'd pay him.
But do you fall in line though, or do you just be different a little bit? Like,
but see, the thing about it is not always green on the other side.
Right.
I think that's another thing that people try to get into. Sometimes it's okay to be good with what you got.
Right.
At least for now, it's still young. Feel me? I feel like you showed me a little.
Right. It's not the end of the world. Especially like, I would definitely pay him just to reward somebody, like you said, that was the last pick in the draft. Came in and was the perfect bridge, but after Jimmy Garoppolo, like when Garoppolo got hurt, that was kind of, he could have been done, left in free agency.
Yeah.
Trey Lance was still there. He didn't work out. That was a huge dark cloud. So Brock Purdy coming in and step up as their starting quarterback was just like the perfect transition. They didn't really have to waste a year trying to evaluate different quarterbacks. So definitely reward him. I think that's a good job for sure.
Yeah, I think they could definitely still compete with Brock as their guy. You feel me? They may have lost a few weapons, but now we see the Juan Jennings, the Ricky Pearsons, they were stepping up at the end of the year too. So let's see how it really get.
We're gonna see how Kyle Shanahan, how he uplifts that offense for sure. But that was a good episode.
Another great episode right there. Another one in the books, man.
Coming back to y'all probably next week too. Some more news to cover. Probably get back into the NBA world a little bit.
Definitely gonna be starting on the bracket.
For sure.
Feel me? College basketball soon starts.
What was that game last night? I didn't get to catch it.
It was It was like the beginning games, the final or the Thursday is when it officially starts. Like the whole 64 team.
Okay, yeah. But no, don't forget tap into all of our socials: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, even Twitter. I even had to make a Facebook, so man Facebook, something like that. Don't forget to tap in socials, like this video, comment y'all thoughts. If y'all agree or disagree with any of y'all takes, let us know. Definitely free to engage for sure. We'll see y'all next week.
We'll see you. We out.